For those of you who enjoy the Japanese funk, there'll be more of it later on, I guess, if you want it. But we are going to be jumping into this game. So, Mr. Dust, how are you doing, sir? We're about to jump into train. How are you feeling about this?
You know, just trying to wake up a little bit. Obviously, it's still a little groggy, still early for me, but getting the morning energy in, and should be a good chance for EnVyUs to push the third map. I think Heroic has been fairly poor on train lately, and I think like out of the last 15 times they've played it, they've only won it like 3 or 4 times. So that's really not the greatest of track records. And I don't even know that they've played it before in an official match that's a tag, so I'm not really sure how that's going to throw a wrench in things on their routines. And then for EnVyUs, this has, you know, generally been a pretty good map for them. I'd say it's probably been one of their better maps, particularly in online settings. So, yeah, I think when you combine all that together, they should have a pretty good chance to force a third map in this series off the back of this.
Yeah, I think coming into this game, a lot of people would have fancied EnVyUs to narrowly scrape by. Heroic's performance in their previous best of 3 was nothing too great against Kingwin, but it did get the job done when it was required. And again, no Kevlars. Sorry, nothing apart from Kevlar is the one I was going for. And they did this time and time again against Kingwin, so they clearly just don't like nades that much. Don't like the kits. They want to go for the raw dueling power against EnVyUs' Glocks. No shenanigans with Tech 9s or P250s for the time being. EnVyUs just have Sixer on nade duty. And very split across the map. Happy, of course, off by himself on Ivy. Rest of the team filtering out towards the box halls and Pop Dog. And now the smoke is going to start connecting. Let's see what the team of EnVyUs are having planned in store. S-Tag's going to try and make a move through on the connector side. Going to see a whole bunch of players ahead of him, but that's just in time for XMS to connect the headshot. And this is quickly getting out of control for Heroic. They've already lost 3 players. They have no control over the site. They have no hope of really getting themselves back in this round, apart from Waddy landing 2 shots. So maybe I should bite my tongue, because there's not over in this round just yet. Moddy's came through with another one. Nico's on 1 health, but maybe Moddy's going to do all the work for him. He's able to get the clothesline onto Scream. And now it's all on Sixer, who should have the positional advantage. He's going to get the first headshot. Going to try and play with the time. This is where the lack of kick could really hurt. And Sixer switching to the Glock burst. He's going to get the headshot. So Moddy's heroics have been laid to rest. Nice try, but EnVyUs do pick up the pistol.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, quick execute on Outer, but as you noted, Moddy did make that round interesting with a couple of USP frags. Made it look like there was even some hope. They had a 2v1 in the end, but Sixer just doing good dancing around E-Box, buying enough time, may have won off the clock alone, even if he wouldn't have gotten the final frag through. And so EnVyUs will get that 1-round lead. They'll get several MAC-10s involved here. Just 1 rifle to Galil on XMS. Everyone else looking to farm the dollars as much as they can. Obviously, Heroic will force buy up a bit, except for Yugi, who obviously takes it really light with just a P250, no armor, making sure that AWP is going to come out right away in the opening gun round. And EnVyUs will take their time. I mean, they do like to play this default a lot, with Happy lurking over towards Ivy and RPK and XMS being used as kind of an entry combo just to get box halls control and then, you know, open up their options. This is kind of the foundation which they like to play from, even on rifle rounds. Obviously have a lot of fast, aggressive stuff as well, given the nature of the team, but just the basics in this round.
Man, not rushing into any potential crossfires or traps either. Playing this one fairly passively for the time being. As you say, spread out across the map, having Happy and Ivy once again. RPK just chilling out in the box halls for the time being. Yuki's got his P250 outside. And now Happy's going to start to make a move. Gets spotted by Snappy, is able to get the spray in effect. But with it being Happy, they're not going to just fully charge onto A site. They're pretty content with what's coming up right now, and that's going to be on the B side of the map. And Moddy's going to land a scout shot. He's not able to get a second. That probably will be the end of his life. And Scream's going to get up close and personal with the MAC-10. The side's better off that decision, starting to back away, but it's the expendable weapon. It doesn't really matter the size that much. S-Tag, unfortunate not to claim the kill with his Eagle. And now Yugi's stuck between multiple terrorists, and he goes down to the hands of Happy, who picks up a 3k in the round. EnVyUs pretty convincing in the end, 2-0 lead.
Yeah, pretty good lurk there by Happy to get an entry on the outer bomb site. Really make it more difficult for Heroic to make their rotations, as well as even getting the backstab there. getting back behind the retake just to ensure the round goes through. And so it will be 2-0 Envy, very likely 3-0. Heroic on a full USP save. They're going to rush inner halls. See if they can't make a little bit of something happen. But plenty of EnVyUs members here will be waiting with open arms and SMGs to farm a little bit of extra cash. And there you see Envy melting Heroic. To be expected, of course, but this next round will tell us a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. The way they anticipate it to go, I like the Heroic at least try something different in the pistol, just an all-out rush. Looks pretty messy, but ultimately, what else were they expecting to get from that? Allows them to get Yugi on an AWP. Nico, I'd expect to see on an M4. Lack of... actually, it does go for the head armor. I suppose it's one of those kind of cases where you realize EnVyUs probably will still be rocking it out with a few SMGs.
Yep.
So getting the head armor definitely does work. A lot of teams, if they're against full AKs, will actually substitute that for an extra flash, smoke, or nade.
Very true.
Not now for Heroic. This does leave them very bare on terms of nades and actually have no kits.
Oh, that's bad. Madi gets caught immediately at inner right there. And Envy was already looking to do some type of inner split. You can tell from the way they were opening up. And now this will just make it even easier. Happy going to catch S-Attack trying to lurk behind as well on the flank. So this is really stacking up well for Envy in the opening gun round. Now they could basically sit back and just think about things. I think they were looking to commit for an early inner hit, but now you might as well take your time and weigh all your options with such a big advantage.
Exactly. Make Heroic sweat it a little bit. Maybe I'll try getting some information, just as Modi's doing. In fact, it's Nico, and he does get the drop on RPK, but those are the kind of plays that EnVyUs were waiting for. It's just they're unable to capitalize on it. Nico's able to scamper back off to the sites. That's a really solid pick. Problem is that Heroic still are a player down. And now the guillotine is going to start to come down on the back of their necks. Nico's the first of all. Snappy and Yugi in no real position to realistically stop this plant and clutch the round. Yugi's piecing out, so is Snappy. Want to save for the next round. And EnVyUs already off to a cracking start with a 4-0 lead. I mean, this started pretty much as poorly as possible. You know, EnVyUs instantly with the opening pick onto ramp on B. And from there on out, they just closed it. And of course, Happy's going to go all in on this push to Mach 10. He doesn't care if he dies. He'll just be instantly into an AK-47. But if he can get a kill, it's massive. Not
true, just saving this AWP. Certainly going to be big here for you. It looks like he will do it, but interesting to even see Madi in that position. Normally he plays Ivy. Nico's usually been the inner player for this team. They're doing something a little bit different there, and he gets caught, and that certainly opened up the floodgates, you feel like, for EnVyUs. Especially when S-Attack also gets caught trying to make a play in a 4-on-5 to try to even the odds, and he gets caught by Happy. So just absolute shutdown across the board from the front side. Luckily, Heroic will have a little bit to work with in this round, but obviously going to be limited to just the 2 guns they saved and a couple of upgraded pistols, not even armor behind them. And they're going to look to do maybe some type of nade stack here as well.
Yeah, full-on nades, all into Team 8. Unfortunately, no one's home. So all that nadage for nothing. There's been very little to talk about here, Dust. I mean, this has been a complete blowout performance thus far by EnVyUs. Solid T rounds aplenty. Yugi's got his AWP positioned where he can flick to either the right-hand side where RPK is about to come from. I really like this angle, actually, that he's watching. Or I can see up on the actual alleyway itself. Spots the player. Unfortunate not to get the kill, but RPK is put down at 23. Close is not good enough, though, for Heroic in this round. They need to be getting those outright frags. Because RPK can now use his Molotov and smoke that would have been dropped onto the site before he dies, if that even happens in the first place.
It's good for them to throw that Molotov down on upper to neutralize anyone being able to peek while they look down the ramp, so it's thoughtful maneuvering by EnVyUs there, and Happy on the lurk once more at Ivy finds an opener. Looking for a bit more, but Snappy will trade him out, but he's done his job. It doesn't need to execute now, but Madi, look at this push. Really well done with low HP.
He'll be forced out of position with that Molotov, so he has to go all in with the kill. And he's done just that. 3-on-2 in favor of Heroic. Modi doesn't have Kevlar. Needs to reposition. His teammate right next to him has fallen down. The smoke will keep XMS safe. He's able to relocate on the site. Now Scream is being tagged up. XMS is going to fall down, and Heroic have done it. In one of the worst buys that we've seen on this half, they've made it stick. Not able to get his hands on the AWP, but you can see the boost of economy that round gave them. Everyone up to about 6k. Sure, that's going to dwindle with AWPs being picked up. 2 AWPs, in fact. But now this is a chance for Heroic to springboard their way back into this half.
It's kind of crazy how Heroic just played off of EnVyUs' Molotov so well. I mean, it was Madi who was playing it from upper who pushed the P250 for a kill. And then right there, you saw the push from Snappy down lower ramp. You know, he eats the kill through the fire, but he gets a frag. And he gives Madi a chance to win an easier one-on-one. So Heroic just able to catch some good timings, I would say, on those Molotovs for a couple of key frags, and now a victory. Triple Ivy set up here from EnVyUs. They do have some inner halls presence as well, just to kind of keep that familiar, but definitely waiting a little bit more over here. As I say that, they actually backed Sixers AWP off as they got smoked out, weren't able to really find what they were looking for, so they'll redouble their efforts into getting control of T-Connector. They've left it, though, unoccupied, so they do have to be a bit concerned that maybe a CT pushed it. That means they have to take a little bit extra time to kind of keep an eye on things there. And they will shift their efforts back over to Ivy once more after that.
Yeah, now the smokes and flashes starting to pour in. And Snappy can't dam the flood, so instead he has to back away and hope for the best. Scream able to rummage his way through with a spray onto Nico. And a second XMS puts down Yugi. And the problem there is that Snappy was just completely neutralized with the smokes. He couldn't help his teammates as they were getting battered from the right side of Ivy. Bomb planted. And Heroic, who have finally got themselves into winning ways, are about to reset their economy. Because neither Snappy or Modi even want to attempt this clutch. This round is already done. EnVyUs will be 5-1 in the lead. And when you consider S-tags down to $50, Snappy 150, 200 for Modi, 950 for Yugi, they're not looking at much of a buy in this next round either.
Yeah, the reset's really harsh here on the Heroic. Worst time to happen as well. Early in the half when you're trying to establish your money and you've already taken a hit like this. Yes, they'll be able to save a couple of guns. Maybe they can put them to use in the next round. Snappy obviously can pass this AWP over to Yugi. They can try to have a little bit of weight to the next round, but big play from Envy. Just that triple Ivy set up massive, clean entries into the outer bomb site. Big part of that was actually the ladder attack as well that came through on that. So big round from EnVyUs to extend their lead and again put Heroic in a tough spot. They will force buy around this as much as they can, but obviously if you lose here, you're setting yourselves up for some really low buys in the next couple of rounds. They really need to make this one work if they want to have an easier time in this half.
To be fair to Heroic, they actually managed to rummage together a better buy than I anticipated. They've got full weapons in play. Sure, no kits and a lack of nades on a couple players, but this is better than I thought. So this does give them a bit of power to play off. That being said, as you highlight, if they lose this, then you're looking at EnVyUs to take like a 7-1, 8-1 lead.
Yep.
On the T side of Train, it's a pretty rough start to say the least.
Yeah, EnVyUs just keeping it default again, just using guys like RPK and XMS to get control of inner halls. Happy usually lurking towards Ivy, no exception here. He does come off of it pretty early though, as they are gathering up in these inner halls with 4 players, and they do like to do these quick upper and lower splits on the inner bomb site, just kind of put numbers each direction, use Happy as kind of a lurk behind on ladder or T-connector, as he will bring up the rear here and now. There is one player in it, and it's going to be Madi once more with the rifle. He does get flashed off though, and will get pushed down, and he's taken out.
Yeah, long range skirmish now going to favour EnVyUs. In a one-on-one against the AWP, you expect Yugi to come out ahead, but he doesn't know if his left or right side is covered. That's why he just backs away. It's not worth even attempting to go for the AWP pings. Wait for the rest of his time to get in position. An S-tag, well, that's a rough trade. Nearly goes his way. Scream on the site is delivering kills. First class, and there's really not much that Heroic can do about this. So again, they want to try and save. This time I don't expect to see any weapons bought behind these guns. If they can even save them, that is. EnVyUs have quite a lot of funds on most of their players. It's really only RPK that's struggling a little bit, and he's still going to be able to afford outright next round. So they want to go for this. They want to charge. And it's XMS that's actually taking point for his team. Decides better of it. And so Heroic will save 2 weapons.
And really well done there, again, by EnVyUs. Just these executes are really on point, particularly just limiting Madi there, the one frag. And again, kind of new to see him playing that position. So used to Nico playing solo winner. And Madi's been caught out a couple of times in that position. He's also done pretty well, though. I mean, he's 8-5. He's actually one of the better fraggers on his team in this half. Up there at the top of the scoreboard there for Heroic. But yeah, EnVyUs are really stringing together quite the T half thus far. Everything has worked for them.
Trying to take some control over Team Main, flash into peak. USPs on 3 of the 5 players, which is kind of what we were expecting. And Nico going to be playing aggressively with his teammate of S-Tag, who's taking a lot of damage from the Molotov. They want to try and see if they can cordon off Sixer. Divide and conquer won't be happening. As Scream came to the aid of his teammate. And now those 2 weapons are almost all that remain. Just Muddy's USP accompanies them. And he will be on B by himself. And probably picked off in the next few moments. Shoulder peeking. Does spot 1 player. Call will come out. Yugi's going to try and convert into a potential AWP pick from connector side. But there's definitely a feeling that this round is pretty much already done. It's hard to justify saying that EnVyUs won't close this out from this position. Oh, utility is starting to be used out on the side, and Yugi switches too soon. It's not going to be a kill going his way, but Money's got 2 frags. Where the hell did this come from? USP kill into picking up the AK from RPK's corpse. And we've seen this play before. Snappy's now doing loads of work in connector, and time is ticking down. It's looking scarce. Molly's gone down on the B side. 18 seconds remaining. Sixers coming through the ramp side. Is Snappy really about to pull this one off? Not able to pick up the bomb carrier, but gets it on the second time of asking. Now time is in favor of Snappy, not against him. Scream has to push his location, and Money's going to go down with 3 seconds remaining. So close, yet so far. EnVyUs pick up a 7-1 lead. That will be a body blow to Heroic.
Yeah, certainly crushing to get that close. Granted, the fact that they were even in that position was not expected given what they had to work with in that round, given the fact that their economy's been such a problem this half, but certainly they were knocking on the door of the upset victory that round, just didn't quite make their way through, and so EnVyUs still maintained the lead. There's no Brazilians in the server, but it's still 7-1, isn't it? See what Heroic can do. They're on a full buy this round, though, and Yugi's going to try something a little bit different with the AWP this time, trying to get aggressive at Ivy. He's going to net him a kill on the Happy. So they finally have an early round advantage. I feel like we really haven't seen that much this game. Heroic working with the early 5-on-4.
RPK is going to bring that back, though. Decides to switch into his knife. Gets him killed. But XMS is there to make amends and get the bomb planted. Heroic lose S attack. Just seems like all the trades are going against them right now, other than that first kill. When it comes to the long-range duels, EnVyUs are always in the lead. XMS with 27 health, going to be playing a close angle. Snappy's checking his left side. Going to check his right, gets the timing onto XMS, who was a few moments prior looking to his right. Stream to get picked off from the side, but that Molotov will keep Snappy honest the time being. Going to throw down his Molotov. Oh, and that Molotov from Sixer gets denied. And he's going to be spraying through the smoke. Has to jump down with his knife, but he's missing everything. Sixer, not like this. Oh my god, this is so awkward. I don't want to watch this game anymore. Get me out of here. What the hell?
I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing, man. What a cock block that smoke grenade was from Snappy, wasn't it? Right when the Molotov was coming back in, denied, man. Like a contraceptive, dude. Just eliminating teen pregnancy right there. Timely topic. It's down in the United States. I just read that article before this game. That's why it came to mind. Sorry about that.
How should we even follow up that round? Like, I feel like we need a collective moment of silence for EnVyUs.
Shit that I just did. Yeah.
Oh. Well. EnVyUs still have a 7-2 lead. So. That's a positive.
That was too good.
I mean, Heroic are in danger of resetting their economy again. I feel like we need to get back to reality now, you know. Now this is where the hard reality strikes Heroic again. Yeah, you got yourself a defuse in the smoke. Yeah, Sixer looked like a bit of a scrub, but they are getting kills. Okay.
That was a sick kill that Snappy got through the smoke on Scream in the face right there, and it actually leaves XNS all alone, lonely in this world with the bomb coming through CT spawn. Yugi more than ready for that, and so that's Heroic stringing together a couple of rounds now. They're starting to get money back in order, especially since they won that round without losing a single player. And that's exactly how you catch right back up. You win a couple in a row, you do so clean, you start to store up some cash, and now look at this, they have EnVyUs onto a force buy. You win this round clean as well, all of a sudden you have a bank. You're just a few rounds away from tying it up, and you can make something out of this CT half still.
Yeah, definitely. This isn't out of the realms of possibility. It did look at one point like EnVyUs was just going to keep leaping forward, and you do wonder if Heroic pull this back. Was that moment with the defuse and the smoke where they started to do it? Snappy's going to get caught with a nade out, incredibly awkward, and dies while trying to no-scope. Oh no, XMS with the double. EnVyUs can strike from these moments. RPK's going to go in for one, and now Modi and S-Tag both collectively scratching their heads like, guys, what the hell just happened? How is it possible that EnVyUs now have a 3-on-1 against Modi, who's been one of the pillars of strength for Heroic? Man. But it's happened again. Every time they've won a round, EnVyUs seemingly instantly counteract.
That's a collective gut punch to Heroic. Luckily, a little bit of money was saved again because of that last round they won. They survived with all 5 players, so that doesn't mean that they can still get a purchase in this round. It'll be less than ideal, but it'll be something, including the AWP out. It's actually going to be on Nico now instead of Yugi, presumably because there's no armor. They'd rather glass cannon Nico than have a rifle on him with nothing, so...
Yeah, I think you're probably on the money there.
Memes probably going through chat, I'm sure.
I think you're on the money about that, with Nico picking up the AWP instead.
Yeah.
This allows Yugi also to play close range into T main. No one's there for EnVyUs. They're actually outside towards the T spawn looking for a set play. Still filtering through on the B side and Pop Dog. So keeping their options open. I mean, there's still so much time left. They're in no great rush. And Heroic have already dispensed of a lot of their nades. 3 smokes left, couple flashes and a nade, but you have to expect they're going to be utilizing some of that in the next few moments.
It's definitely been a tough day at the office for Heroic CT side, particularly on the outer bomb side, when you look at some of the numbers that guys like Esatag, Yugi, and Nico are putting up.
Not their finest hour. They can still bring this back, though. Maybe shift through the gears. RPK straight down. Spots the head of Modi and caves it in. Happy. Next player to step up, and Nico will go down. There is going to be a kill back, though, for S-Tag, who's making a move around the back, and that's a beautiful flick onto Happy. Not going to get the second onto XMS. He's looking for the highlight reel-worthy stuff. Not today. And Yugi gets dispatched by RPK. Snappy, 5-7 in hands. I'm sure I was hoping there'd be an AK-47 there, but a UMP's not too bad.
Yeah, the retake attempt pretty much shut down, but RPK just getting deep in the back lines there, just not really giving them a chance to break through Z connector. And so Snappy, as you noted, will just have to take the AWP and tuck his tail between his legs and get the hell out of there. They need something to carry over. Obviously, money is so low for them. EnVyUs definitely has a little bit of money saved up on a couple of guys, maybe to give chase with 1 or 2 players. See if they can't get this out of his hands.
Snappy going to fall back to T-spawn. And should be okay to save his AWP. So Heroic will at least have that in play. But other than that, not much. And again, you're in a position where, from Heroic's perspective, doesn't really make sense to force buy. Because they're going to have... If they lose this round, as you expect they will, they'll have 3 rounds of loss bonus. They would be able to afford rifles afterwards. But it really comes down to, do they want to wait that long, right? I mean, they're already 3-9 behind. That would be 10-3. Do they want to wait that long and potentially get like a 10-5 half? Or do they want to go for broke here and see if they can pull it back to 9-6? And maybe that match pause is ultimately what they're deciding right now.
Yeah, I feel like they'll definitely get some upgraded pistols behind this AWP, but I don't know that they'll go super heavy-handed. I mean, you really can't do a whole hell of a lot with this money. I mean, you could go like UMP armor or something like that, or upgrade pistol armor and nade set. But I mean, that's gonna really. I mean, you're barely winning rounds in the best of times when you have full buys. You really trust a force buy to go through. That's kind of the mentality I think you have to think about here. But the other thing is getting an AWP later on this half is going to be difficult. You only have 3 rounds left, and you're going to buy next round off a 3-round loss bonus. And yeah, I guess S-Attack would be able to drop an AWP at that point to Yugi or something like that, so they could still get one in the next round. That shouldn't be too much of a concern. So yeah, I think I don't think they would buy too heavy here.
Well, I guess we'll find out the answer to that. Of course, Yugi, I'm pretty sure that's the 5-7 that Snappy just dropped him that he had in the last round, so it allows him to share the wealth a little bit. So he didn't purchase that. I mean, the fact that Yugi on a map like Train, which is effectively an AWPer's paradise, is on 3 and 9, pretty much sums it up. You know, he hasn't been having the greatest of maps here so far. Have we even seen double ops? I think we may have seen double ops like one time for Heroic.
One time, yeah.
They haven't really had the ability.
Had it one round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that when you consider how many times they've been reset twice this half, and they had such a slow start. The money's never really been there to do that a whole hell of a lot. Which is certainly tough, right? That's kind of one of the staples of CT side Train.
Alright, so we're going to find out the answer to the question, and it seems to be a couple upgraded pistols. Of course, again, one of them was dropped from Snappy, and S-Tag has picked himself up to CZ, so minimal investment. Heroic playing for the next round of 14. Maybe Snappy can pull off a miracle play with the AWP. It's looking good for Envy. This is quickly getting out of control for Heroic. They need to start bridging this gap quickly. Molly's going to go down. He's peeked one too many times. Again, he's just got the default pistol. You can't really blame him for that. Not really expect him to do anything from that position. Yugi's been mollied out of position as well. It just gets a whole lot worse for Heroic. They're being comprehensively outplayed across the board. The flashbang is not going to be able to save Snappy. And now Nico and his USP are Billy no-mates. 1 on 5. Envy looking way better here than overpassing, that's safe to say.
I think it was to be expected when you think about the map pools of these two teams respectively. That Train was going to always be kind of the advantage for Envy. They've capitalized on that to stay alive in this tournament. Again, elimination is on the line. There is no lower bracket. And there's 2 slots on the line on a premier tournament. You know, one of the big premier tournaments left this year besides the major. So certainly both these teams would really love a shot at it.
Yeah, and I'd say both these teams are up there with some of the favorites, you know, coming through into this. You got Mouse Sports also in here, Penta, who of course have done phenomenally well over these last few weeks / month. Yep. So there's quite a few teams in the Malmö qualifier stage that I think are in for a real shot at qualifying. But Heroic, who already did win the first map, for those who just joined us and were wondering, Overpass did go their way in the end. They're on the brink of maybe being taken to a 3rd map, and this is a pretty important round. Again, no kits. It is full M4s, though.
And I believe the 3rd map is an Inferno, if I'm not mistaken. It's very likely that we are going to see it based on how things are playing out.
So I see some people asking when DreamHack Malmö is. It's at the end of August, start of September. So in about a month and a half, when we will see the Masters go back to Malmö. Of course, that was the first Masters last year. Had Las Vegas earlier this year, and then Malmö again for the 3rd. And already, only 1 smoke remains with 4 flashbangs. And to make matters worse, Nico's been destroyed off that flash. Didn't know what hit him. And it was 6 up and a Tech 9. It seems like this round may be evaporating, very much like this half has. Snappy can hear footsteps, the pitter-patter of footsteps. Impending doom, perhaps. It's going to be XMS that dies. I think they flashed themselves more than anything else.
Yeah, they also missed a smoke as well. There was supposed to be a smoke that went up to block Snappy's vision so they could get back off, and it is not there, so Happy has to fight for it. Somehow gets a 2nd kill on the Snappy. Not sure how that happens, but he has a 2-on-2. He has a molly on Z. He's buying time for that bomb to shift around through ladder room to actually make it into outside. as he controls back halls, but Mani and Yugi are both good here, and Zeke actually push through that fire, but Scream gets the frag, so he'll be able to plant.
And with 5 seconds left, he starts to plant, and he will be able to finalize. From a round where EnVyUs ultimately flashed themselves out of Ivy and got wrecked, somehow, someway, Happy with a 2K has opened it back up again. Yugi doesn't have a kit, doesn't have any idea where these last 2 terrorists are. He just found out where Scream is. Only has a flashbang. Has to tickle the bomb and hope that Happy comes out into play and he guesses the right angle. And he's actually got it correct. Happy tries his best to hop round the corner. This is going to be close, but I think that Yugi actually has it. So, Heroic will be taking a 4th round.
Yeah, kind of crazy that it even got that far. Again, some of those kills that Happy got out of Ivy definitely seemed like they shouldn't have happened, but in the end, Yugi able to clutch the 1v2. It's going to make it 10-4, so at least Heroic are finding a couple of rounds here at the end, perhaps to keep it as close as they can. Fight the really rough start. They'll still have a bye in this round as well, but if it's the best they can hope for, they still are up against a fully stacked EnVyUs who have never let them really streak together more than 1 or 2 rounds, so still a good chance they find an 11th here. Again, aggressive Ivy here from Heroic. They've used to get opening picks in the past. Madi also getting aggressive, might catch a timing up the lower ramp, get RPK in the back. But gets caught by XMS, who was waiting for him here up top.
Yeah, it seems like the rounds where Heroic have won have came down to just like moments of individual brilliance. Like Yugi in that last round, he's been very quiet this map. When it comes to the default sort of executes and the bread and butter plays, they've always been coming out second best. Like EnVyUs have just been trouncing them on the B side of the map. They've been able to execute on A pretty comfortably, and now they're going to go straight through onto the site. There's very little stopping them from pulling this off. I mean, Nico's up on the schools. He's going to try and tap his way to victory, but down he will fall. Yuki's straight through the smoke. Last round of the half, of course, they're going to be going hell for leather to try and get this bomb defused. Again, though, no kit. That's been a reoccurring theme. And Happy was spotted. I think his shoulder was originally seen by Yugi, who does convert into a kill. And a second, this giant starting to awaken from the slumber. A really poor start to train, but is finishing strong. Molotov up into the box all side. Yugi's going to pick up 1, but out comes Sixer. And 11-4 will be the halftime score. EnVyUs in dominant fashion looking to close this map out quick.
Yeah, without a pistol round, you'd expect this one to be rolling into Inferno quite rapidly, as Heroic did not get much down their CT side. Again, never able to streak together more than a couple of rounds. Reset 3 times throughout the half. Definitely a tough look for them on their CT side. Definitely didn't really get the performances out of a lot of their outer defenders, was probably one of the biggest stories there. And Heroic were just kind of having a tough time across the board, while EnVyUs was having a field day with them, really. And now they have a massive lead and a great chance to force the 3rd map. Again, the pistol will certainly tell the tale of how long this half may last.
On a completely unrelated note, well, I was just looking at some of those gloves there. Don't you think the next like knife skin should just be knuckle dusters? How sick would that be? No, just me. All right then, brilliant.
Some brass knuckles might be pretty cool, actually.
Just get some knuckle dusters and just slump some fools. Like give them a good right hook.
Yeah.
People saying no in chat. Forever alone feels bad, man. Insert meme here. Either way, though, EnVyUs are looking to pick up the 2nd pistol and leapfrog their way to a victory here on Train. But Snappy and Modi are going to keep things interesting with 1 plant. Have brought it back to even playing field. Able to establish forward positions in the likes of Snappy to land the insta headshot and convert that onto Sixer. Looking much better. 2nd kill for Snappy in quick succession. His 3rd overall. And now Scream. Him against the worlds. Okay then. That's a pretty tasty flick onto Snappy's head. Does he have any more in his back pocket? He's just picked up a kit and a smoke. That smoke is a little bit too deep, though, and time's against him anyway. So he's going to try and take down the head of Modi. Won't be happening. Heroic have got a 2nd pistol going their way, finally, and they're going to go straight into a couple of AKs. 3 AKs, actually, so heavy investment.
And they know they got to make their ground here and now. They will get a couple of UMPs in play on Nico and S-Attack, though, to see if they can't, you know, farm a little bit of money out there. But definitely want to get the rifles out early. We are going to see EnVyUs take a fairly light buy, all things considered here. Typically, you see, like, armor pistols behind this, maybe even a scout in play, but really only Scream taking a bigger purchase. Everyone else being very conservative.
Yeah, it should play into the weapon advantage that Heroic have. Building towards the first rifle round that EnVyUs will have on the horizon. Now, of course, it is EnVyUs. Some of these players are monsters with pistols. Smoke out. It's going to allow a little gap for Heroic to drop down in. Unmask their approach. RPK with a kill onto Nico. Instantly dead as a result. With this kind of weaponry, EnVyUs may be well within their reason to just save. They can come back again into the next round with a similar purchase. Does afford them a little bit. You still have Kevlar and a CZ on screen. Going to be maybe setting up for exit frags, not much else. I mean, it's not as if they're rushed to pick up rounds here. They have quite a decent buffer of rounds. They can just sit back here, allow the round to come to fruition. See if they can take an AK out the round. That would be amazing. That would be a nice juicy bonus on top of it. S-Tag could be the man to fall, and indeed he shall. UMP falls by the wayside, but Scream was tagged up in the process and has seen a bunch of terrorists charging his way, so he will save instead. But Heroic pick up the second round on this half.
And they retain the 3 AKs, which is most important for their money, so at least they have that coming over. Again, EnVyUs took a really conservative buy in that round. It looks like they'll do so again. I guess it is, they really want to make sure they get full utility sets and everything like that in the next round. Maybe even just go straight into a double AWP setup as well, is probably the thought process as to why they were really light in that previous round. So Heroic will be allowed to gain a little bit of ground because of the saving of EnVyUs, but obviously that opening gun round will really be what we have to focus on to see if Heroic has any chance at really coming back into this, as they will go for a triple Ivy setup here in this round, a couple above ladder as well. So it seems like they want to do some type of outer split. Sixer does spot this in the back halls and quickly gets out of there. He is the one man that has something better than a pistol to work with.
Slow and steady wins the race. Heroic in no great rush to push through. They know roughly what's up against them in this round. RPK is going to get found wanting as he looks to push through. Nico's going to get a second kill, though. So the IV pressure wasn't really effective overall. And now EnVyUs just trying to scrap for any kills they can get. Rock coming out all done the blazing. There's another one. XMS put down to the floor. Another round for Heroic. This is what we were looking for. If the map's going to get close, Heroic have got to keep this momentum going through. They can't afford to let their foot off the pedal here. Oh dear. And just as I say that, they've lost 2 more players and they really needed to. Scream, is he going to be able to get another kill onto Yugi and maybe take an AK out the round? No, he's not. So, Heroic have done pretty much what was set up against them. This is going to be a rifle round. This is going to be their first true test on their T side. Let's see if they pass or not. They're going to have an AWP. And that's, unless Sixer wants to go for an AWP and lack of head armor, then it is going to be facing off against Sixer's AWP as well. So both teams have the sniper. Again, though, EnVyUs don't have a kit.
And certainly can play a role in things if they do have to wind up going for some type of retake situation. But they have a lot of utility to stuff any type of faster attacks. But Nico just waiting behind it, still able to get the entry onto XMS. XMS thinking maybe he could kind of use that incendiary on T-Con to maybe push deep into E-Box or something, but gets caught on the way there, and that'll open things up for Heroic a bit. They'll have a very early advantage as they will begin to take control of the bot calls themselves. Again, the staple of most defaults is making sure you have control of the staging area for enter. RPK takes a peek, though, gets a kill. Could get traded by the top player. It's going to be Madi who comes through, but it's another even trade, so still 3-on-3.
Yeah, 3-on-3. Both AWPs still in play, but this is where the lack of nades is going to start to sting for EnVyUs. 2
Gotta
smokes.
watch this flank as well.
Yep, they do have Scream coming up round the back. One of the smokes has now been used onto ramp. Let's jump on board with Scream's perspective. He's about to see S-Tag. It was close. S-Tag's down to 3. But the trade does go the way of the terrorists, which is so important. 6 though comes out swinging. And Nico is put in his place. That bomb is in a horrible spot as well. Unbeknownst to Heroic, 6 is no longer looking there. But they have no idea of knowing that. And of course, they're not going to dry peek out. Now the nade's starting to get used, but S-Tag's full. It's all on Yugi. Mad potential this guy has. He's going to have to realize it in the next 25 seconds. Molly headed towards Happy, who's made a move around the back. But there is Sixer springing from the T side. And Heroic have lost the first rifle round. That's going to sting. And it also puts them in a pretty bad shape economically as well, because Yugi's on 1900. Happy's on 2900. Looks like they're going to force, though.
Yeah, that's pretty big from Sixer, not only to get the quick kill on the first player coming through ladder room, but to just so rapidly push over towards Ivy. Like, they never really expected him to be there. They were always thinking, oh, maybe he's still going to be Z or something with the AWP. Maybe he's playing behind Bomb Train. That was always where the focus was. So Sixer was able to use that to his advantage to actually get back around Yugi there in the end. And so that's going to be EnVyUs up 12-7. As you noted, Heroic go very heavy-handed into this round after a reset. If you lose this, you're basically in a 4-spot to survive scenario for the rest of the game. So they really need this one to work. Otherwise, EnVyUs are going to have a great chance just to kind of roll their way through 16-7, to be honest, because the money's going to be a huge problem for Heroic going forward.
Absolutely. It's not quite do or die just yet, but it's getting close to that stage. Snappy, he's going to come out with a kill of his own. Down he will go afterwards. In fact, no, it's Nico that fall to the hands of Happy. 6 on to Yugi. And the bomb's going to get planted, but S-Tag's in no position to help out his teammate. And he's going to go hungry for that kill. This leaves Snappy all by his lonesome for the time being. He's trying to waste as much valuable time as possible on the site. Smoking out, going to try and use that smoke as sanctuary. But it's 2 UMPs. And make that just the one, as XMS with a drive-by Deagle headshot silences S-Tag. Snappy with 1. Gonna see if he can spray his way into success. Not gonna happen. XMS stands tall, and with the kit will defuse. EnVyUs move 1 step closer to drawing this best of 3 1-1.
And that whole ladder room exchange just got really awkward in the end. XMS was able to get behind S-Tag and get the frag, so really struggled there, particularly with EnVyUs just being up 3-on-2 the entire time. And now, since Heroic did wind up getting the bomb plant, you have to wonder if maybe you should just take a save here. I mean, because otherwise you're just going to keep force buying for the rest of the half. You're always going to be on these SMG Tech 9 type buys. You know, as you go through, yeah, eventually you'll approach max loss bonus, and maybe you'll have something a little bit better. But if you want to make sure you have one more really good crack at this game, I think it makes sense to take a bit more of a conservative approach. As I say that, you see an AK was dropped. Deagle also out in play onto Nico. Another AK being picked up there by S-Tag. So they are pretty much just making sure they get every little purchase they can out of it.
And Marty still has 2.3k. Okay, there we go. He's going to pull the trigger now. For the nades. So it's going to be 2 AKs. What does Yugi have? He's got a Glock. I assume he's got some kind of a weapon alongside that. There's another AK on the floor. Yeah. So 3 AKs, 2 Deagles. Not the worst buy.
Because you basically made it to where you're probably not going to have an out for the rest of this game. Unless you win this round and pick up Sixers or get a couple of wins in a row and start making a comeback and get your economy in order. But we will see how this unfolds, as they have certainly dipped into their wallets as much as they possibly can for this round here and now.
EnVyUs on the brink of securing this up. They also dropped a map against Playing Ducks, which would have surprised a lot of people in their previous best of 3, and then it went down to the wire on Train. I think it was like 16-13, 16-14. They ended up winning that against Playing Ducks. So we know they're no strangers to close games, especially not today in the DreamHack Malmö qualifiers. But Heroic have got to start winning right here, right now. Already, aggressive Ivy control is trying to be established, but Sixer swats that away. Like a mosquito to the windshield, Modi is brushed aside. Still going to play aggressive, though. Outside of team main, it's Snappy that's using that smoke to try and find a pixel to which to execute off. And in the meanwhile, Yugi's also pushing Ivy.
This flank from RPK could be so big if he times it just right.
Yugi just far too many players surrounding him. It's down to a Deagle and an AK. And they're both going to chime onto screen. RPK's flank, you called it. It was a success. 2K in the end. EnVyUs 14-7 in the lead. Heroic. Not a pot to piss in. So they are going to force buy with, well, the standard sort of Tech 9s with Deagles. And they actually have a UMP as well.
Yeah, this is just the end result of the flowchart route that they took. I mean, they could have saved the last round and then had a full buy in this one, but now you force bought in the last round, you didn't get it, you have to force buy again here, and you're going to have to force buy again in the next round as well if you lose again. So, again, just always going to be at an uphill battle throughout the rest of this game unless they can somehow win a couple of clean rounds against Envy, steal some guns or something like that, but it's not looking good for them in this map. It hasn't really the entire time. Luckily, they have won the first match, so they've guaranteed at least seeing Inferno before the series is done and through.
Yep, definitely going to see Inferno regardless. For Heroic, if they do lose this map. Which is looking more and more likely as time goes by. Going to try and sneak a plant in the smoke and screen. And XMS are both going to try and spam through, and they do finally take down Modi. But it's too little too late to stop the bomb plant. The issue really is for Heroic now. You've got the bomb down, but now the hard work really starts. UMP and 2 pistols with no nades up against EnVyUs. With 2 AWPs. Not the greatest weapons to retake with, that should be mentioned. And now the Tech 9 trying to rip through heads, and Snappy gets 2 headshots, and suddenly it's all unhappy. This is asking so much of Happy. Where the hell did that play come from? The pocket rocket of the Tech 9 claiming heads. And Heroic will live to fight another day. Happy's just going to get the hell out of there and save. In the blink of an eye, this round shifts across from EnVyUs, and now they're into an eco. Or potentially an eco, you assume they would.
Yeah, you would think so, certainly. So, I mean, Heroic able to put a huge dent in EnVyUs right there. They carried over an AWP and an AK as well. Plus, they got the bomb plant money on top of the victory bonus. So, they'll actually get a really good buy out of this now. So, they force the hand and they get it through. Really just off the back of pushing all those smokes on the retake. Like, EnVyUs were, like, smoking ladder and stuff, trying to make sure they could get in. They just pushed through that and through brute force alone, won some key duels, and now all of a sudden, they're looking really good for this round as well, thanks to the fact that Happy's really the only guy that has anything to work with, and he does catch a player here, so he gets aggressive through Ivy, so he gets into a quick 4-on-4, but still such an uphill battle. He can actually keep his eye on this, let Sixer push up and grab a gun, so that'll give them a little bit more to work with in this round. And he gets another kill as well. This is getting dangerous. The bomb's actually down. Sixer pushing through. Gets an AK for his troubles, but no armor on it.
No armor, but he does have the Overwatch behind him. And what is happening, Heroic? How the hell do you battle back in these rounds and then instantly lose against pistols again?
Oh my. It's just the timing that Scream had pushing through T-Counter with the Deagle, because they had to keep worrying about this pressure from Ivy because Happy got the pick. They knew that Sixer was pushing down to grab the AK. They were trying to deal with that, and Scream picks the perfect time to blindside them from T-Connector, and everything just crumbles. I mean, it was good timing on peaks from EnVyUs. They worked that really well together, but yeah, certainly if you're Heroic, you're just shaking your heads that you were finally maybe getting in, and then that happens.
That's probably the map over, to be honest. Straight through onto B they go. Molotov perfectly placed to repel Happy and hold the phones for a second because, surprise, surprise, Heroic have got their pistols charged straight through onto B, and they've had a modicum of success. They line up for Modi, not able to get a kill, but does do quite a lot of damage in the process. XMS elsewhere with his AK-47 and box halls is making this a reality. Modi flashing into connector. Happy just a bit too far to the right side to be deterred by those bullets whizzing past his head. And meanwhile, XMS has managed to slither his way up onto Catwalk, so they spot a second player. Down goes Modi, and now it all falls on Yugi's Deagle. 4 bullets left, able to put them down. The bomb is going to explode anyway. Heroic pick up the round. They are not done just yet, but they're not able to capitalize fully because they all died. So it's going to be a complete rebuy, and so therefore they're going to have to come down to a couple of UMPs instead.
Yeah, luckily SMS had enough money to drop the AWP to Sixer and still be able to get a purchase for himself, and RPK has money as well. But they actually take a really light approach into this round. They could have spot up pretty well, actually, here with they decide that with the breathing room that they have, you might as well not force it too much. You've won plenty of rounds like this. Just get the upgraded pistols and armor, get the AWP that you recycled, make sure you can still buy later. They do get a one-on-one trade early on the inner halls push here, thanks to Happy. But Nico able to keep Heroic in a good position in this round, as we do see some nades being lined up here in inner halls. That's just to clear out ladder room, though. That's what these two Molotovs are for. The Scream will get pushed out. He's actually trying to play in between them and stay around.
Scrappiest of confrontations in Pop Dog, but it goes the way of Snappy all the same.
Ladder room's so tricky now because of the grenade pin noise that gets made when you pull a nade. So you've seen T teams have to resort to doing that double Molotov setup and then just throwing the flashbang down and chasing after it to clear it out. Like it's so much more difficult for T's to control that area of the map, and you kind of see some of that play out there. They do get the kill in the end, though.
RPK still stood in position. P250 in hand, his trusty sidearm. Try and repel the oncoming terrorists. 35 seconds. All that remains. And Heroic is starting to push through. Six has got the first. And RPK, no one's covering Nico. Come on, bruh. Get that player covered. 23 seconds. Snappy's going to be coming down with Yugi, who's on pretty healthy amounts of HP left. The AWP rattling out from Sixer. XMS again slithering his way onto Catwalk. We've seen this before, and Six has done the rest of the job. It all comes down to Yugi. 2-on-1. He was in this identical position last round. He's able to get himself the AK spray, but XMS picks him off, and that's going to be the round done. EnVyUs have done it. It was scrappy. It wasn't the easiest of maps, but they've got it done where it counts, and 16-9 will be the second score line. We are moving to Inferno after all. I don't know what to say about that map, though, Dust. It definitely wasn't the best CS we've ever seen. That's for sure.
Definitely some tricky rounds. But I would say when we looked at the series, we looked at the map pool, we did kind of expect the third map to happen. Certainly some shenanigans on the way here that made things a little bit crazy, but the end result is still kind of the same as we expected it to be. Also, to give you some updates on what's going on around the rest of the bracket, we did see Mousesports 2-1 Space Soldiers actually won the third map in overtime, so Space Soldiers really took it to Mousesports, but Mousesports do come up with the victory, so they will move on to one of the semifinals matches that'll be taking place a little bit later on today. Hellraisers 2-0'd Outlaws. Didn't seem to have too much trouble with that series. They actually didn't allow more than 5 rounds in both of those maps, so they really got through that one with little to no trouble. And so with that in mind, Flipside and Mousesports will be in one of the semifinals matchups coming up. Hellraisers awaits the winner of this game. And we've also had a few other results kind of coming through. I think Flipside actually beat out Penta 2-0, so that's kind of a big result when you think about it, with Penta's recent success at the major qualifiers and stuff. So Flipside able to eliminate them from the tournament. So that just gives you a little bit of an update on what else is going on in the brackets.
Indeed, so plenty to play for. Of course, it's still relatively early days for today. We've got 2 more best of 3s after this one. A marathon of Counter-Strike, but we'll get there. We'll get through to the bitter end. Hopefully some of you guys stick with us. But for now, we're going to cut to a break, and we'll join us to be live for Inferno, the all-important deciding map between Heroic and EnVyUs. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.